All right. Let's see if we have live audio. One moment. Yes, we do. All right. It is Friday, September 19th, 2025 at 4:52 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and here we are in Fallout 76. So, let's see. Today, I launched the Suffolk County Charter School video. Of course, some of that talking about pink slime, the goo that's within the school there, part of the National Alternative Paste Program. The rest of the month will be taken up with a video covering Wilson Automatoys, again also in Fallout 4, and then after that we'll move back into Fallout 76, and I have not yet put together the full list of topics on that. It'll probably be some of the things that were there last time, and potentially some new options. So if anybody has any suggestions, things they'd like to see, I can of course put those into the poll and move that forward in the next week or so. It is, again, the 19th today, September being a 30-day month. I'm going to get it out before the end of the month, hopefully. I think it's a Monday, the 30th. So I'd like to get it out by next Friday, but we'll see. What else? I think that's most of it. Penguin lore, yeah. Welcome to the stream, Mal. Good to see you. Not many penguins in the Fallout universe. Let's see. So yeah, most of today, one of the comments was suggesting covering some of the stuff in the Shenandoah Valley. So maybe we'll see. Again, I'll put the poll in the Discord and on the Patreon. Again, probably sometime this next week. I'll be working on the next video by the time I put that thing up. So again, having just finished the video last night, I have not yet started on the on the next one. Okay, so yeah, I was experimenting a little bit with the new camp building system. Let's see what we got here. So, yeah. I already ran into an issue where, like, this generator, I've been constantly trying to get back in this corner. That's where it originally was, but it was sticking through the wall. So I wanted to have it within the bunker entirely here, and it is not. First of all, I had it in there. Let's see if I can... And I had it green a minute ago, and it said it couldn't fit because it was basically intersecting with an object. One second. This is the really fun stuff to watch, right? When you're basically like trying to fit a couch in a corner. But yeah, basically this thing was poking through the wall of the bunker when I first logged in to get the shot for the thumbnail. And there we go. Yep, see, cannot place item, intersects with object, but it's got a green outline, so they clearly haven't fixed everything, unfortunately. But yeah, so this is something you get off the, what's it called, the Fallout, the Atomic Shop, that's right. It's been a while since I've really used the Atomic Shop. I logged in today to basically get the free stuff for the month and all that stuff. Again, I haven't played 76 in a little while, so there's some content in here that I have not yet experienced. I've been working on the other videos covering the other games, so. Let's see, the fishing stuff should be new, and again, I've done nothing related to that. Let's see if there's anything here. That's, I think, related to the ghouls, and then this right here, again, going to Gleaming Depths. I still haven't done that stuff either. Oh man, I used to do so much more stuff in Fallout 76. I just have not lately. I've been focused on other things. So, hope everybody's having a good week. Oh yeah, my shelter. Forgot I had an access to the shelter here. I've been, again, working on the video. Been working on my car. It's unfortunately not done yet. If you heard last week, you know I'm doing an enormous amount of work on my car. I'm trying to replace the head gasket, which basically involves like taking apart the entire upper part of the engine. And I've been having to buy all kinds of tools and stuff like that. Luckily, all the tools and parts are actually fairly cheap, but at the end of the day, with all this stuff, it's always the cost of labor that you're paying for at the mechanic shop, and in this case, I think it's probably what I've read is the average is 8 hours of labor, and again, that's with an experienced mechanic, and I am by no means an inexperienced mechanic, so it's some work. So, but yeah, in terms of Fallout 76 content that we could potentially cover, again, I talked about this a little bit last week, but Charleston, still haven't done a video on Charleston. I've done a video on all the other municipalities, but at some point I do need to do one on Charleston itself. But again, I also want to redo my video on Beckley. Funnily enough, I actually got a comment on Beckley today on that video from somebody who lives in Beckley. Then also, again, I need to do another, basically redo the video on Welch, the video on Lewisburg, the video on Brommel, and I kind of want to, I would need, so I like the content of the videos covering Watoga, but I read those scripts so quickly that at times it's difficult to understand what I'm saying. So I will go back and cover that at some point. Now, there's definitely a lot of new stuff to cover down here. I mean, part of it being Vault 63, which stretches all the way out to Dark Hollow Manor. I think that's how far it goes. Maybe further. I can't remember. It's been a little while since I did the Vault 63 content. At the very least, it stretches to Dark Hollow Manor. It may go even further, but regardless, I do need to cover that. I also do need to do a video covering, well, eventually I need to do one on Vault 79. I've kind of covered that when my videos on the Raiders of the Crater and on the Settlers of Foundation. But I should do a dedicated video on that, and I also need to do a dedicated video on Vault 76. I need to do a new video on the Blue Ridge Caravan Company because of their new locations. Both the stuff that's up here, where is it? There we go, Blue Ridge Bunkhouse. Along with that, there's also the new content they have new at Mid-Mountain Pit Stop, and along with that, the stuff that they added down here in Shenandoah Valley, or not Shenandoah Valley, Skyline Valley. So yeah, there's all that kind of stuff. Along with that, there's also the Blood Eagles, which I have not yet actually covered as a faction. And there have been minor additions to the Settlers, not Settlers, well, actually a little bit for the Settlers. I mean, specifically Settlers Ridge right here. But also a little bit to the Crater Raiders, the Coop, for example. And been a little bit added to the Responders as well. Things like their updated location here at Gilman Lumber Mill. So all that stuff needs covering, and I will definitely do that. There's also some additional content that came with fishing. Again, I've not yet experienced that, but from the little bits and pieces I've seen online, it looks like there's not just fishing, but a little bit of a backstory there as well, so I'll have to look into that. I think I've actually, for the moment, done with the expeditions. Last time I covered Atlantic City. That was actually my last Fallout 76 video. And prior to that, I think it was late last year, maybe even the year before that, I did the Pit. So I am currently up to date on the expeditions. I do hope that they add an additional location to each of these. Atlantic City, I want to go see the Pine Barrens to deal with the Overgrown. And in the Pit, I want to go to the mill and deal with the Fanatics. Let's see what else. Fishing lore is light, but they're okay. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. What else? There's like little sites that could maybe use like their own individual video, but like one of those things where it's 5 minutes long or less, like Pylon V13, which is a time traveling experiment. What else? Trying to think if there's anything significant. Oh, I do want to redo my video on the Dire Chemical Massacre. It's a very interesting piece of lore there because it basically deals with the early response to ghouls. Basically, because up until Fallout 76, the earliest information we really got on ghouls was in Fallout, the original, with Necropolis. But in this case, we actually get to see the reaction of the people of Harper's Ferry to Daniel Whitby, I believe his name was, becoming a ghoul, a sentient ghoul. And they'd experienced nothing but feral ghouls up to that point, and this was a kind of a terrifying revelation to them, because they didn't know whether or not ghoulification was some sort of contagious disease. So he was basically shunned by society, and then you had one of the members of the town guard go kind of crazy, because I believe what happened, it's been a few years since I covered the topic, his family was killed by feral ghouls, and he basically decided he was going to massacre all ghouls, including the community of sentient ghouls that was hiding out in Dire Chemical. Yeah, no, 100%. The Dire Chemical Massacre, it's a very interesting topic, and again, really goes into how crazy the early days after the bombs were. And by early days, I'm still talking about, I think, a couple of years after, but still. Yeah, there's a little bit of additional content that needs to be covered with the new stuff up here. I talked about this a little bit at the time, but I'm not actually thrilled with the Radiant Hills thing being added here. Basically, my issue with it is that for, let's see, this game launched in 2018, and it was the same way up until this year. So for 7 years, all we had were silos Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie, and we had access to the command bunker here at the White Spring Resort. And at no point was there any indication that there were any additional bunkers anywhere. And then it's like, oh, look, another bunker with a with a missile silo. And it's like, how many of these are we going to keep adding? Yeah, a little bit. I also am not a terribly big fan of the whole ghouls need a chemical to not go feral. It's like, where was this in the story? Like, if this was something that had been added early, yeah, no, there is no support for Site Delta. But it's like, if this stuff if the whole thing with ghouls needing a chemical not to go feral had been added early on, I would have no problem with it. But it's a severe retcon to how ghouls operate. Because it's one of those things too, where it's like, okay, if this was supposed to be a chemical that was developed like within the past, like 10 years or something within the Fallout universe, and that's why the ghouls has to use it in the Fallout TV show. But no, he seems to have been using it basically since the beginning, and they're kind of adding it in here, kind of like wedging it in, like, oh yeah, guys, it's always been in the Fallout universe. It's like, no, no, it hasn't. And it's like, we've had ghoul companions before. You'd think that they would have mentioned this at some point. Yeah. No, yeah, 100%. Because, I mean, it's like, you really think Raoul the Ghoul would never have mentioned this chemical at any point? Charon would never have mentioned this chemical at some point? You don't think that they would have ever been running low on this chemical and needed to get some more of it so that they don't go feral? It feels... It's a very poor retcon, would be my opinion on that, honestly. There are people that were upset about the idea of the Brotherhood of Steel being in Fallout 76. I don't have any problem with that in the slightest. There's actually very little that we knew about the earliest days of the Brotherhood of Steel before. Because when we get to them in Fallout 1, they're an established organization. With Fallout 76, we basically get to see the origins of it. When it goes from Army unit into becoming the Brotherhood of Steel. When it still is containing original members of the armed forces, and they're actually making the transition. It's like, yes, it is definitely quite a coincidence that he knows someone in this area. But at the end of the day, that's not the biggest thing in the world. Yeah, Modus goes Skynet. Yeah, it's possible. My personal suggestion as to what the apocalypse for the third apocalypse for Appalachia will be the combination of ultracite and depleted ultracite, basically destroying the entirety of the countryside. Hey, we can go look at some of the lore for that. I believe it's within the AMS corporate headquarters. I could be misremembering. It's been a while. I did actually cover AMS back when I covered Watoga, but we're talking about 2020? 2019? Something like that. Seriously, it's been a long time. My first serious lore video was in September of 2019. Let's see here.
Automated mining services.
Yeah, no, it's going to be upstairs.
Home of industry. Visitors.
Yeah. I don't talk about it much because it just makes me sad to think about, but literally the day after I published my video on Morgantown, which again was like my first serious lore video, was the day my dad died. So I will always remember that time. All right. Let's see here. I don't think it's going to be on this computer, but we may as well log in here anyway. All right. Yeah, it's definitely not in here. Gonna go ahead and head upstairs. This whole pneumatic tube system that they used as an elevator is so crazy. I'm a little weirded out that I'm not being shot at by these things right now. By these turrets and robots. This the scorched ultrasite or any of this area because it. Yeah, no, and that's definitely the case. Because it's like we've been to the Capital Wasteland in 2277. Okay, well now I'm being fired on.
Hostile start.
It's a little weird that these guys were just fine with me being in here earlier. It's a good thing this character is basically invulnerable because I'm in my Fallout world. But even so, I'm being driven backwards forcefully. Oh my gosh. Hey Lone Wanderer 93, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I appreciate it. It still bears on me as well. Jeez Louise. Where are we going here? Oh. That's an odd choice. Is there another one in here? Yes. I did not realize the bathrooms in here were laser guarded. Security terminal, that's not it. Let's keep on going up. Oh yeah, this is where that note is. Where the guy kept getting like put into like a smaller and smaller office. Sue them. You put this recorder in your shirt pocket, it's small, no one will know it's there. I'm serious, Michael. It's not fair. They can't help it, you're just big boned. We'll see what they say after we sue them for workplace safety violations, and don't be your usual idiot self. Oop. Oh well. Yeah, basically he got Miltoned into this area. If you haven't seen Office Space, or if you have, and it's been a while, Milton is the guy who keeps having his office moved and stapler taken at the very end and then burns down the office. I can't imagine a face worth than being crushed in an elevator. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Oh. Okay. My watch was just talking to me here. Seriously, has been a while since I've actually gone over the ultrasite, depleted ultrasite reaction, so it may not even be in here. I think it is, but... Alright. We got, here's one of them. I think there's two oh yeah. Kilson, the CEO, his terminal's in here as well. Yeah, none of that. This is where we've got that meeting here. Taking place between the military and the board of directors here. Love this room because there's something dirty going on. Yeah. Got the ultrasite scrap there. The briefcase. Oh, I hear something. Oh. Okay. Not sure why that thing wasn't trying to actually kill me. Or was, but was failing terribly. Can't be opened. That doesn't seem right. Oh, wait. Isn't there a button to open a security door? 1 second. Nope. I think there is one, but I don't remember where it is. Regardless, I know that Kilson's terminal is in this little office over here. Or I misremembered it's in here. There it is. Yeah, ultrasite R&D report. Depleted ultrasite disposal continues to be a problem. Contact with non-depleted ultrasite causes a corrosive reaction that melts both materials. Care has to be taken to contain all depleted ultrasite material after use to avoid contamination. And this is only part of it. Basically, this shows us some of the information here. This was also then picked up on by Hank Madigan, who then basically used it to create depleted ultrasite rounds a mod for a gun, basically, that turns it into a depleted ultrasight gun, so that you can then use that on the Scorched. Let's see here. Oh, that's got to be what that computer opens. Man, I don't know about y'all, but let's see here. Nothing to head over to the. Yeah. I don't know about y'all, but there's this feeling I get when I'm first playing a game, when it's like there's so much open, so much to explore. I especially get it basically anytime I'm playing a Bethesda game, just because of the way they build their worlds. And I still remember that feeling I had the first time I was playing Fallout 76. I mean, it was extremely strong when I was playing the beta, and I think part of that was because the time limit that they imposed on it. It was only that weekend or that week, or I can't remember. It was only a few days, though. And I was so dead set on getting to the Atlas Observatory.
Welcomes you to the home of industry.
I didn't know what it was at the time, but I saw that icon on the map, and I had to get over there and see what it was. But I still remember it as well when I was wandering around Watoga for the first time, trying to dodge the robots that were trying to kill me. Is this guy not Mayor? He's not Mayor. Okay. But this really felt like a sufficiently, like, end-game location to me when I was playing it, because it's just like, it's this fairly large city. It's obviously not the size of Boston or anything like that, but in terms of within Appalachia, it's definitely the largest city. And it's filled with with robots that are just constantly trying to kill you. There are scorched beast nests and everything like that. Doesn't make you want to explore. Yeah. No, it was amazing. I loved the beta. I got... it was actually the reason I created my account on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, was to basically put up the screenshots I was taking. And so you can see where my original path, which ran me down into Flatwoods. I think I went to Flatwoods. But I definitely remember going to Vaultec University and then running up into the hills, restoring the Monongah power plant, going up through Monongah, and crossing over to Fort Atlas. Again, at the time, it was the Atlas Observatory. When I found that I really couldn't do anything there, I think I decided to go down and check out the monorail elevator. So, yeah. Yeah, they're still there. All those screenshots, as far as I know, they're still there. Yeah, this was always weird to me, too. The fact that there was a presidential debate going on. It was 2077, which is not an election year. So I don't really know why there was a presidential debate taking place. Kind of a weird little thing. Like today when I was doing my video, well, obviously I released it today, but it didn't make it today. When I produced my video covering the Suffolk County Charter School, and you can definitely, I didn't mention it just because, like, it felt like a little thing where they were basically just trying to do a little bit of environmental storytelling. There are skeletons inside the school that shouldn't be there because, again, it was Saturday. Now, at the end of the day, you of course have some staff that go up on the weekends, but we're talking about fairly early in the morning on the East Coast. I mean, it's not as early in the morning as it is on the West Coast, but still fairly early in the morning, especially, again, for a Saturday to be going into work. Now, you find a skeleton that looks like it's probably the janitor. There's also the skeleton in the principal's office, so it's entirely possible that she was there. But at the same time, too, it's one of those things that they don't really... it doesn't make much sense, but Bethesda does it a lot, is they will put skeletons in places to tell stories where it doesn't really make sense that they'd still be there. Like, why exactly it is that you find all these people just, like, sitting in chairs in places. Like, okay, if you find them in a church, yeah, they went in there to go pray, they died and sitting in place, stuff like that. But when you just find them where it's like the guys that are, like, sitting on park benches and they aren't anywhere near a blast site, and it's like they wouldn't have been running, trying to find shelter or anything like that. This game at launch was amazing to explore. The fact that no one was around. Oh, yeah. Okay, I know that this would be probably fairly difficult because I'm sure that they've patched this game so many times that I'm wondering if the original source code is even around. But I would love it if they would provide, like, almost in the same way that Blizzard has done the WoW Classic, which, of course, we'll talk about that in a second. Regardless, if they would do that for Fallout 76, to where you could actually like go in and play the original version of the game, I feel like there's a lot of people out there that would get something interesting out of that, because there are so many people that have only played the game since Wastelanders, or even far more recently than that. Man, those are apparently quite heavy. Or I'm just carrying way too much. That's probably what it really is. I wonder what I'm carrying so much of. Probably purified water. No, because that only weighs... Wow, 0.05 of a pound. Well, that seemed to have fixed it anyway. Okay, so my little thing about WoW Classic real quick. It's just kind of stupid that it's now progressed up to WoW, to Mists of Pandaria. Because it's like... So much of the reason people wanted WoW Classic was to basically play the pre-Cataclysm map. Or maybe play up to Cataclysm. And so it's like you've moved into the expansions that people stopped playing WoW because they were there. So what's the point anymore? But anyway, hit the plays. Yeah, no, if they did something where they basically ran through all the patches over the course of like 6 months or something like that, to where it's like they basically relaunched the game in a separate server. Do it in the same way that they did the Fallout Worlds, the same way they used to do Nuclear Winter. And hell, they could even do like limited time Nuclear Winter. Just do the original game, and they don't even have to make new content for it, which I think was entirely the reason why they stopped making Nuclear Winters, because they didn't want to split the dev team up to be making new content for Nuclear Winter and for the adventure. And that's what I think what a lot of people miss, is that the reason that they stopped doing Nuclear Winter is because when they add Fallout Worlds, it's the same game. Like, yeah, there are little rule changes that you can make on your end, but they're not having to make different content for two different settings. So yeah, isolate things. Yeah. So yeah, if they did something where, again, it was like the Fallout Worlds, instead of it being like so the way they do it right now, if you're not aware, there's the private world that you set the rules on. Then there's like the themed world that they set up, and it's like, oh, buildings are cheaper to build, or explosives do more damage. I don't remember all of them. It's been a while since I've done any of those. Regardless, and like enemies explode. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that they could set it up to where they do basically Fallout 76 Classic and that kind of thing, and then like let it run for like 6 months. Again, first month or so do the original version of the game, then do like a month of Wastelanders, then a month of what's it called, the Brotherhood of Steel content, and just keep on going from there. I feel like that would be pretty interesting. Yep, Fallout Worlds. I always play in my Fallout World. It's so much easier to film in my Fallout World. And I've got one of them where I seem to have like gotten rid of carry weight being a thing. I forgot that there's a there's a tunnel under this entire roadway. I completely forgot about that until just now. We're gonna go find an entrance to that. Because it's so crazy. Here we go. So you can hide the entire way up this road from the Scorch Beasts going by overhead. But yeah, it's so much easier to film in a Fallout world. And every time someone's like, bring back Nuclear Winter, if no one uses Fallout Worlds, it's like, I do. Please don't take away my Fallout Worlds. It's the entire reason I pay for Fallout First. I so rarely get anything off the Atomic Shop. I have, I think, 12,000 Atomic Shop atoms. 1 second. We can check on that real quick. Although, gotta be quick. Because it sometimes has licensed music. Yeah, 12,001. Oh, yeah. No. And so one of the things I will definitely also say that I've noticed, because when I was getting the screenshot, this was a thing that immediately popped up to me, is that when you go into the screenshot mode, maybe it's just within camps, but I was able to move so much faster. Oh, camera speed, that's why. Oop. Now, I do wish I could have more of a radius that I could go to with the free cam, but I love that they added a camera speed thing. Now, originally when I saw this, I legitimately didn't know what it was, and I thought maybe they were allowing us to like take like almost like a time lapse photo or something like that when I originally saw camera speed. But anyway, Yeah, I saw your not Star Destroyer. Oh, man. Thing looks good. Nope. Felton Reed. I haven't seen you in a while.
Hello there.
Who are you?
I'm Felton Reed, newly initiated in the Brotherhood of Steel. I saw what they did with the old observatory and figured I had to be a part of it.
What are you doing out here?
I'm working towards becoming a scribe. It's a commitment to finding and documenting technology. I've collected a few pieces, but I'm unsure about any of them. I need to present something impressive to my brethren to prove myself. Scribe Valdis taught us that exceptional technology can often be found in objects with military or scientific applications. Do any of these pieces gathered at my camp seem like they'd impress
I
my
recorded this footage
superiors?
from my video on the Brother to Steel. I'll have a look around.
I understand. I'll be here a bit longer.
Yeah, he's a random encounter. Fairly rare. They probably would like the microscope, but only as something they could break down. Toaster, again, is entirely just for scrap. I imagine they already have all of this technology. I'm assuming he's talking about the food dehydrator and all that. I don't know. Anyway. Work in progress? Yeah. Still. After 7 years, it's a work in progress. I do love Fallout 76, but there are those little things where it's like, there's this thing that would have dramatically improved the game. And it is an improvement, don't get me wrong, but it's one of the, and it's always that thing where, no matter when someone releases something, it's always a question that, there's always going to be that person that asks, like, why wasn't it here faster? And nothing's ever here fast enough, you know? But, the abandoned Bogtown. Did a video on this. Including one of the more interesting things that I wish we could have actually seen in action, which is this right here, which seems to me to be evidence of the raiders from Bogtown driving around on the back of this truck, basically as like a mobile fortress, and shooting things up. The abandoned Bogtown here, of course, having been ruined by Atomic Mining Services, who undermined the ground with their atomic mining and made the town uninhabitable, as you can see here, by authority of the Watoga Safety Commission. They come in, they ruin their town, and then they put up signs that say, "Get out." I also do really enjoy that this local small police station has an electric chair in the back. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Where? Oh, right. It's in the shed out back. That's just the holding cell. It reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons. I'm trying to remember exactly what the case of was going on there. But Hans Moleman is in prison. And he's been given his last meal. Oh, that's right. Homer's in prison for some reason. I can't remember. But Homer eats Hans Moleman's last meal. And he goes, "Oh, he ate my last meal." And it said, "Well, if that's the worst thing that happens today, consider yourself lucky. Are you really allowed to execute people in a local jail? From here on out, no talking." It's like so dark. Oh, man. Yeah, you got this little tiny town, and they got an electric chair in the back. Got this fortified car park here. I think it was part of the whole... Not car park, sorry. The trailer park. That I believe was part of the whole Raider organization. Eventually got taken over. Jeez Louise. Got taken over by the super mutants. But of course, in the back, we also have the home of Scott Turner. Not here. Stopped that guy from yelling. Ooh, there's another one up there. There it is. There's Scott Turner's shack. The man who destroyed Watoga. and then had some sort of medical emergency that left him collapsed on the floor of his shack. You got his last words there. Operation Free Watoga. Yeah, basically, it's one of those things where it's like the people of Watoga were definitely snobs and they were definitely hurting people around them. But at the end of the day, this guy wasn't really upset that that they were wealthy. He was upset that he wasn't among them, and so he was going to kick them out of their home. Like he would have been just fine with the city of Watoga being exactly as it was, so long as he was the one in charge of it. I really do enjoy the cranberry bog. Oop. Scorched officer. Where is the ranger station? I enjoy the ranger station because it tells a little story about the, where is it? It's been a while. Oh, it's literally right there. Tells a story about why the cranberry bog looks the way it does, when the mire looks the way that it does. And the cranberry bog looks the way that it does because it was destroyed by beavers. They cut down all the trees and dammed up the entire area. Now, the cranberry bog is a real-world location. It's in the Cranberry Glades National Wildlife Area, something like that. There's one of the beavers. Got some very interesting wildlife there. Oh, what is this? I keep finding these turrets and stuff that are not hostile to me that don't make any sense. But yeah, the beavers cut down all the trees here. They didn't manage to do it up in the mire because of all the red vines growing out of Vault 94. But I've learned from multiple videos that I've watched of locals saying this, that this is apparently pronounced Kana. And I don't know why they don't pronounce this Kanawha, which is what I thought it was, but it's apparently Kana. And this is not a real national park, but Kana National Park. Yeah, rad beavers. And the reason they're a problem is because one of the rangers here was squeamish about hunting them or extending licenses to hunt them. It's kind of an odd couple situation. You had two rangers, one of whom wanted to allow the hunting to basically allow nature to be in balance, and the other one was kind of more of a tree hugger sort of a guy who didn't want any of the beavers to be harmed. But it's like one of those things where it's like, well, but all the natural predators are dead, so either you have people hunt them or they don't have predators and they go crazy. So beavers, if you're not aware, they've got a gland and has anal secretions that they used to use for vanilla flavoring, if you're not aware. Ranger Ross. They also use it in perfumes and stuff. Message from Ranger Simons. I'll stick to my side of the office when you stick to your side. I know you've been stealing my snacks from my snacks drawer. There's only two of us in this office, Ross. Ranger Ross reports. Lookout Tower is immaculate. Ranger Simmons. Previous reports of untidiness clearly are an attempt to undermine my credibility. Beaver population has suffered tremendously due to rampant poaching. Caught 2 of them just last week. Ranger Simmons let them go. I'm going to go with Simons. So they both applied for hunting permits and should have received them. That's not your call, Simons. Sign the permits, Ross. Ranger Simons. No, Ranger Ross. Beaver facts, yes. Beavers are actually really incredible creatures with the whole like paddle tail and the fact that they build dams and they can cause fairly large changes to like the natural environment. Obviously nowhere near as much as we do, but like they can create entire lakes. They can basically reroute entire rivers. Oh. Here we go. Hunting. Gonna cough here.
You gonna turn that thing on every time I walk over here now? You gonna keep physically abusing me every time I tell you no about something? You're such a baby. No, I'm a caring and sensitive individual, which is precisely the type of person we need protecting our wildlife. If you had your way, no one would even visit the park. And if you had yours, we'd let in every maniac with a gun to shoot up the place. son is a maniac, Ross, and there is nothing wrong with hunting. It is a manly sport, a time-honored tradition. It's murder. It's hunting! Well, why are you a ranger anyway? Because I love nature, and I want to preserve it so that people can enjoy it. Same as you. By enjoy, you mean destroy, right? Oh, for Christ's sakes, Ross, I'm not a monster.
Scorched where the ferals don't get you, that's well.
A trash can? So that's where my dandy boy apples were.
Tab on
Your
radio.
goddamn mouth. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Give me that. Get away from me.
Yeah. Friends meet Yogi Bear.
Oh, building this
Got a
place
settler
was hard
engineer out
work.
here. That almost looks like a uniform in the way that all comes together. I don't think it is, but interesting. Let's see. Nothing else up here. Ranger outfits. Let's go to... I was just thinking about one of the screenshots I took back in the day. Is it Central Mountain Lookout? It might be Central Mountain Lookout. We'll see. How have y'all's weeks been? I've been happy to not be sick this week, like I was last week. Or was it last week or the week before that? I can't remember, honestly, at this point. Everything's been... No! Yeah, it was the week before last that I was sick, but I was still coughing stuff up last week. Let's see here. Blood Eagles. Alright. Oop. Jeez Louise. Well, I just screwed up anything that was up there. I was hoping this was a site that I'd like to visit. We'll see soon enough. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was. There's normally when you don't blow this place up, there's a couple of raiders here that were playing checkers, and they killed each other in the process. It's a fun little scene, but unfortunately it just got blown up by, I don't even know. Who's out here shooting? Somebody have a Hellstorm? Because isn't this the... No, we're near the Hellstorm launcher place, but this is not it. Where is this guy? I saw there was a Fallout 76 event in New York this week. Ooh. Jeez Louise. I guess I don't cover that enough for them to have given me an invite to that, so... Oh well. Either that or the channel's not big enough, I don't know. Yeah, one way or the other. Is he up here? He must be up here. Oh! Outside, okay. Well, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to stop that from the destruction of this regardless. Surviving, work, work, work. Flu shot aftermath. Okay, good. I'm glad that that's gone for you now. Yeah, I've seen people posting pictures on X. So at least half a dozen people I follow on there. Let's see. I think they're saying that a lot of the photos have been embargoed until the 30th? Maybe until October, I can't remember. Regardless, so they're only sharing a few photos at this point in time. Some sort of preview event for the upcoming content. This is not the site for the Hellstorm, I don't think. I think... No, it's not. Okay. Let's go see if... I wonder if that stays the way it does after you leave it behind. I think it's right over... There it is. South Mountain Lookout. Whoa. Got that for the thumbnail for the Atlantic City lore video. I might need to take that out of the main folder there. That's a bit of a jump scare. No, my understanding is it's entirely just based on the upcoming content for Fallout 76, but I could be wrong there. Who knows? It was some sort of creator event. No, this is definitely the wrong one. Was it this? I think it maybe was the Central Mountain Lookout. Yeah, you're right. This is definitely not the Hellstorm site. I thought it... Yeah. Is it somewhere over here? It's been a while. I'll just go up to Site Alpha. I don't think it is there, to the east of there, I mean, but obviously this character would have the fast travel point. If you haven't seen it, the Mothman Museum has a camera facing the Mothman statue, and it's a live stream. At least it was when I was making my video on the Mothman. And you can see some fun stuff going on there. Yep, coming up on October 23rd. I haven't done anything for that for a while. The last thing I did was an updated video on the craters, the bomb craters of the 3D Fallouts. Specifically covering basically the craters you find here in Appalachia, which are now actually a building site. Right there, Foundation Outpost. But then along with that, covering the crater of Adam in Fallout 4, the, what's it called, Cambridge crater, that little crater that's set in like south central Boston, and then along with that, covering little other craters that aren't bomb craters but are craters. And then, like again, Fallout 3 has the Megaton crater, which is not a bomb crater. It's just a a hole in the ground that a bomb fell into. Either that or it was a crater that then another bomb fell into. Obviously, the other craters you find within Fallout 3. The ones you find at Fort Bannister? Unless I'm misremembering that. And then along with that, the crater in downtown DC. The craters you find in New Vegas, like the Mesquite crater, the Cottonwood Cove crater. People tell me that there are craters outside the map, but I've looked and I haven't found them. I know I've heard people talk about them a lot, but I've never actually seen them. The Black Mesa crater, am I remember? No. Because I always feel like Black Mountain. Because I'm always confusing the name with the main test site from... That is a weird looking wolf. From Half-Life. I guess I'm going down here. I don't know if I've ever actually approached this site from the rear, so it's weird to see it like this. This is the Navy intelligence base, right? Yep, Sugar Grove. That's one of my earlier videos. It's been a while since I've covered this site. Fallout versus Half-Life, very different universes. Both post-apocalypse, but for very different reasons.
Identify.
Sugar Grove, if you're not aware, is based on a real-world site. It's a NSA site, I believe, in the real world. And there was reporting on it from, I believe it was the New York Times, that basically every single phone call that goes into the eastern seaboard goes through Sugar Grove. So, if you're wondering, are there people listening in? Yes, there are, and they're here.
Ready to die for your country, you commie son of a bitch?
Of course, in the Fallout universe, this is a naval intelligence site. It's fairly close to, there's a real world, it's like a radio silence area. So basically you can't find radio signals on the air, no cell phone towers, no Wi-Fi. All of it so that they can build, I think there's a radio antenna there, so they can basically get some, like, actually good signal from space. There's also little dossiers that you find on a couple, yeah, detective case files, sorry, that I always wish that they had actually turned into a thing, to where it's like there'd be some information here that you could actually read. There's also a black site here, where they had a sleeper cell program they were working. The old DEF CON sign there. And here we go. Control room. I love this sigil they have here. Sugar Grove SIGINT. Adiwichitache. I remember what... I looked that up at one point. I don't remember what it says. I think it's something like... Listen. I don't remember what the other ones are, but... Anyway. They've got... So, like, there's ones here that seem completely normal. Like, they've got a power grid monitoring station. Where is this? There's that. I know there's a robot around here somewhere. Anyway, but they've also got... this one right here. Cryptozoids. Or Zoids. Where they were basically getting reports on different cryptids found across Appalachia. And unfortunately, the rest of the placards are broken. So we don't know what these desks really did. Needed a Enclave wall emblem. Like the one you can find within the White Spring bunker. And then you got the server room over here, which was basically ruined right before the war. Because somebody decided to run a testing program that ended up filling up the entire banks and used an enormous amount of power and material. Cryptid monitoring wing, yeah. Yeah, they got the bathrooms and showers here so people could basically stay at work during emergencies. And again, you get the weapons testing workshop up this way. And where is it? Yeah, it's right back over here. Oop, ran out of ammo. And this guy had an enormous amount of data and was trying as much as he could to put it on all these blank holotapes. He needed, I can't remember the name of it. There's a special type of holotape, we can find it here in this, that he was trying to get that's like enormous. Where is it? Siphon. It's got these crazy, yeah, iridium-infused magnetic tape, 15 million a holotape. Which isn't as much in the Fallout universe as it is in the real world, but it's still a lot. Need blank holotapes? Exactly. Sugar Grove. So, like, when you go to the Morgantown Airport, there was a point in time when they were running out of holotapes because people were taking them all to use for survivor stories and stuff like that. It's like, just head on over to Sugar Grove, guys. You got plenty of them. Yeah. Yeah, he needed to be able to actually extract all the data off the servers. And he was trying to do it with those individual holotapes. And it's like one of those things where it's like the fragmentation that would take place in drawing all the data off the servers makes it effectively useless. So it's one of the... He's got one of those stories where it's like he's so lucky the world ended. It's like obviously the guy's dead at his desk, so not really. But at the same time... It is definitely a situation where he would have definitely been out of a job and potentially facing some sort of criminal penalties. This back here is an office. I don't think I've got the ID card. No, this is part of Commander Daguerre's area, Sophia Daguerre, the crashed astronaut. And there's also some sort of reference back in there to Miguel Caldera, one of the responders having worked in there at some point. Which, like, the information we have on him is that he worked at Vault-Tec, so... He seems to have some sort of background. He also knew something about iBots. So I think that there's more to Miguel Caldera than meets the eye, but we really haven't heard anything about it lately, so... You see backing a big blue one. 5.25 quarter-inch floppies, yeah. It's so funny to me that floppy disk was the term that ended up being the term for that stuff, when the original floppies, the B-drive floppies, were actually floppy, but no one used them for, like, basically... there was an enormous amount of time where everyone used, not an enormous amount of time, but about a decade and a half, 2 decades, where everyone was using A drive floppies. And, yeah, they still called them floppy, even though they were not. If you're wondering ever why your computer generally starts with a C drive, it's because A and B are legacy drives, having been filled up by other things. All these discs and chairs. The back entrance. Let's go to the back entrance. Quintino's nightclub in Atlantic City. Home to his sister Concerta. Yeah, A drives. 1.4 megabytes. I was, just the other day, somebody was talking about, I can't remember exactly what brought it up, but I remember the fact that the first, like, expansion card that I got, like, little extra data card that I got from my Xbox 360 back in the day, was 64 megabytes. And I was like, that does not seem right. That's such a tiny thing. And so I, like, checked online. It's like, no, the original ones were just 64 megabytes. It was a place to save your saves. And they were still like $20. It's just crazy. Because you can get, like, I think 50 gigabyte flash drives now for pretty cheap. And the external hard drive that I recently added to my computer is something like 20? I can't remember. Some enormous number of terabytes. Yeah. It's amazing how much the cost for storage has come down. And the physical size of it as well. Got these conditioning rooms here, where they're creating their sleeper cells. Let's see, agent. Let's see these ones. Trying to find Park Ranger. Trying to find the one that lives in Huntersville. I think it's her right here. Exhibits signs of resilience to reprogramming. Double next session. If she still manages to resist, a partial wipe may be in order. We can always drop her outside her home and make it look like a late night bender. Her propensity for overindulging in alcohol is one of the reasons we chose her for this exact reason. I believe that this right here is actually, yeah, petabyte drives. Frickin'. There's no, like, it's one of those things where it's like, when I was a kid, I would say there's no way you would ever need like a gigabyte of space for a game. Because like you used to get games literally on CDs where it was a few hundred megabytes. But like the way that they do not optimize games now, and some of them can be like 150 gigabytes and stuff like that, it's just crazy. Okay, we're going to go to Huntersville. Oop. And so I'd like to say that there's no way we'll ever need a petabyte. See you later, Lone Wanderer 93. I'd like to say there's no way we'll ever need a petabyte for a game. Who knows? Of course, like literally yesterday, I was I refinished listening to the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, which if you haven't listened to it or read it, it's a great series. Only 7 books in of 10 that he's said that he's likely going to write. Matt Dinneman being the author there. But I've now listened to the whole series twice. But anyway, I was re-listening to Xenos by Dan Abnett, which is in the Warhammer 40k universe. And like I was really... I was imagining a game set in the Warhammer 40k universe where basically the universe is just kind of running in the background and you're literally just an inquisitor. And like the game is like creating chaos cults and your entire thing is like trying to hunt them down and stuff like that. It'd be something where, again, that is the sort of thing that would probably take petabytes of data. If you were to do it in a way to where it's like first person walking around in a world that has probably been procedurally generated based upon if you were to like make it with an AI and have it like feed in all the information about the Warhammer 40k universe and like let it go. But anyway, let's see here. Don't actually need to kill these guys, I just don't want them bothering me while I'm looking for the house that belonged to that sleeper agent. I don't know if I've ever heard them say that before. This town is incredibly disturbing when you consider the implications of what was happening here. Not just the fact that they turned these people into super mutants by lacing their water supply with FEV, but the fact that it also happened to an infant. Is it this note right here? No, it's not this one. It's her next door neighbor, if I remember correctly. Where is that? Right across the street. That's right. It's over there. Sherman, I believe, was the name of the kid that got turned. There we go. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go.
U.S. Army, ma'am. Open up, please.
What do you want?
Just open the door, Miss Sherman.
Yes.
On behalf of the U.S. Army and West Tech, you're hereby ordered to hand custody of your child, Dalton Sherman, over to us immediately.
What? Over my dead body. He's sick. He's not going anywhere.
You have no choice. Where is he, ma'am?
Hell, I don't have a choice. You're not moving that child 1 inch, so help me out.
Ma'am, if you don't move aside right now, we'll move you ourselves. Do you understand? Put down the knife, Miss Sherman. I won't ask again.
No! Get out of my house! Dalton is only sick. He'll get better. You people can't take him like you took the others. You can't. No, I won't let you.
Hold it! Hold it! God damn it! Corporal Gibbons, put her in the body bag. Private Zaleski, go find the kid.
Yeah, again, Dalton was basically an infant super mutant. Yeah, this entire town got a brand new water system courtesy of the Department of Agriculture, entirely to isolate its water from the rest of society. Gail Myers. Throughout this entire log here, we have Gail talking about how things are looking up in Huntersville. They've got the government money coming in. And then they got all this traffic coming through. She's opening up a bakery. And then suddenly, everybody seems to have just kind of disappeared. They got money coming in from the government still, but nobody's actually coming to town anymore. People have the flu. The sickness keeps getting worse. They went over to the local office to try to get some help. And Thomas McDevitt, the guy that was trying to do that, disappeared. People are changing. Their bodies are deforming. It's not the flu. We got doctors from West Tech. They've quarantined us. And then you got the animal growling. You got people basically disappearing, being taken in. And then you have her having become a super mutant herself. If we go upstairs, which I mean jump, you can also find a key. You used to be able to. Where is it? Oh, is it up here? There's a key somewhere. There it is. Cell key, W9FZ. Yeah, Gale, exactly. My thoughts exactly. Again, we have a woman here named Gale, turning into a super mutant. I don't know what that's all about. Let's go up to the crater. It's one of my old camps there. That's where I was filming up there on the roof for one of my channel updates.
So many humans around. Makes head hurt.
So yeah, I think it's entirely possible this is the same Gale right here. Again, we've got a local super mutant. The super mutants in Huntersville seem to have transformed slowly and retained some of who they were, more so than you generally see with the other ones. Again, I think this right here is very likely Gale from Huntersville.
Ever.
So, and again, also, I think the reason that she was transforming more slowly than her neighbors is because, like the note said within the black site, the woman that they had from there was a drinker. And I think it's entirely possible that she was mixing her water and whatever she was drinking with alcohol, and maybe even not even drinking that much of the actual town's water. And so it actually came on a lot slower for her. As an alcoholic, she was actually unknowingly shielding herself from the effects of the FEV that she was consuming on a daily basis. So anyway, I think I'm going to get ready to close things out here. Again, what I'm going to be looking to do over the course of the next week and a half is I'm going to be working on the video covering Wilson Automatoys and Fallout 4. After that, I'm going to be, in the process, I'm also going to be putting up a poll on both the Discord and within the Patreon for the videos that I will cover, the topics I'll cover, I should say, in my videos on Fallout 76 for next month. So if you have anything in mind, why don't you go ahead and mention it now, or if you want to mention it in the Discord, something you'd like to see me cover, and I can add it as a poll option for the potential topics for Fallout 76. This is always an interesting site. By the way, I know this is probably sacrilege that I had not seen 2001: A Space Odyssey before I made my video on the crater. It's just, it's not something I was introduced to as a kid. And I created an artist's rendition of what the space station likely looked like. And after the fact, I was looking at an image of the space station within 2001: A Space Odyssey, and they look very similar. Basically, two alternately rotating rings. You got one of them going one way, one going the other, and that way you kind of like balance the rotational torque. So
I hate it when things get messy.
But yeah, you got, again, there's too much material here for a single ring, so it's very likely two. And again, connected by a central hub, and the two of them connect to each other and spin in opposite directions to balance the rotational torque. So, but yeah, again, if you have any suggestions you'd like to make for the topics to cover in Fallout 76, let me know. Again, either here on the Discord or even on Twitter, I guess. Those are the places you'll generally find me. Other than that, I hope everybody has a good weekend. Again, I'm going to be working on my car quite a bit, taking apart the engine. And along with that, I'm going to be working on the video covering Wilson Automatoys. So I hope everybody has had a great week. Hope everybody has a good weekend. It's been great to hang out with y'all. And I will see you all next Friday.